Folks, I can't believe it. I'm back again. Um, Something really crazy happened. I went to play the replay from this morning's broadcast about a real world journey of using AI, and the screen shares that I had put up during the presentation that I saw during the presentation were blank. There was nothing there. And so I actually had someone from the mail list reach out and say, "Hey, can you send me a replay of the talk today? I wasn't able to make it, and I really wanted that information. And would you be willing to do this?" Now there is a new thing coming up on my screen here in StreamYard that says, demo scene one, demo scene two, and I didn't use that this morning. I did things the normal way, and so now I'm wondering if maybe that's why we got the result that we got. And so for some of you that may have seen me talk this morning, this may seem like a repeat. It's really hard to recreate something, when you don't have a script and you're just talking. It's kind of hard to recreate that energy of like the original talk. But I wanted to kind of make sure that what was in this talk, especially for, I email a ton of people and I say, "I'm going to talk about this." And then people look forward to it. And then when they see it, they go, "Oh, that's not what I thought that was going to be about." And so today I'm talking about a real world journey of using AI, of using artificial intelligence. And the reason that I'm doing the talk this way is there's a big piece of me that thinks that there's a ton of people out there that would use AI, but when they sign into what they think is AI, there's nothing there. It's like if you go back to the mid 90s, you would buy a computer from the store, from Circuit City, and that's a joke for everybody that's old like me. You would go to Circuit City, you'd buy a computer, you'd bring it home, you'd be all excited, you'd plug it in, you'd plug this in, plug that in, but the printer's over here, the monitor's over there, the CPU's over here, the keyboard's over there, the mouse. You get all this stuff plugged in, and you turn it on in full excitement, and then realize this $5,000 box doesn't do anything. It didn't do anything because we didn't put the right tools in it. We didn't have the software in it. Nowadays, you buy a laptop, you come home from Best Buy, you flip the thing open, you turn it on, you connect to the internet, and it's like, boom, would you like these 17 programs? And would you like this? And go to here, and here's your browser, and here. That didn't used to happen. You used to have to get the computer and then load all this stuff up in it. And they used to sell software in a box, and you would have to go and pick the box off the shelf and then bring it home and install it with disks and all these weird things. And so to me, AI is like kind of in that space right now where some people will sign into it and they'll be like, there's nothing here. What do I do with this? And to give you a working example of what I mean by that, here's what ChatGPT looks like today. This is ChatGPT GPT-4, I believe, right? And so if we go into the page here, up at the top left, we see it says ChatGPT. We can pull this down, try advanced features for free. Do you want to log in? Do you want to sign up? And then it says, what can I help with? And then you just have this blank little thing here. And then you say something, what kind of questions do people usually ask? Look at me misspelling words. Usually ask when it's their first time using Chat GPT. And we'll see, like, well, what are some of the, when people use it, how does Chat GPT work? Can you help me with it? Okay, are you a real person? What can you do? How accurate are your responses? And if you've looked at any kind of work on AI so far, you'll see that AI so far is almost like you need to be a prompt engineer to get the things that you want. You need to say, so like if you're going to write a blog post and the blog post is for a financial office, so let's say you do financial planning, you're going to have to open up like, "Hi, today we're going to write a blog post for a financial planning company. The post needs to be this long. It needs to have 5 bullet points and 2 subheadings, and maybe you talk about the structure of it, or maybe you say, I need your help doing research for a post for a financial company, we want it to be on this topic, like how to plan after a spouse's death. And then it'll say, well, here's some bullet points. Here's kind of an outline. Here's some bullet points. And then you'll look at that and you go, well, that's not really an article, right? And so then you say, well, can you expand those bullet points into an article? And then maybe it gives you that article. But then is it the voice you want? Is it is it using the right grade level of text to communicate for you, and all these things? And so in order for AI to work at these levels, we have to give it those levels. And so I just wanted to share with you, like, my personal journey with AI didn't work. It didn't work in that way. And so I wanted to kind of maybe direct you at a couple of things and then see kind of what you thought about using some things. So one of the first things that I remember was Jasper. Now I'm going back 4 or 5 years ago. Jasper, if you guys remember that, it was an AI platform. They said it was using artificial intelligence. Again, 4 or 5 years ago, I had actually had a call with one of the founders, and because I was writing books, and he was like, "Oh, this thing can write you a book, lickety split." And I was mortified. I was actually not infuriated. That's hyperbole, but the cackles on the back of my neck were like, "Really? This thing's going to write a book? I'm a writer. Like, I'm a writer. Why do I want this thing right?" And that's when I started to get like these weird thoughts about AI. I was like, if AI just keeps regurgitating the same stuff over and over and over again, and it keeps sourcing the same information over and over again, it's going to dumb itself down and it's going to become drivel, right? And that's what I convinced myself. And I told myself I didn't want to use AI, but I'm in the IT space and everyone in the IT space is using AI. And so I had to kind of come up to speed. And here's what I've realized over time. I've realized, even though I never said I was an expert on AI, when I talk to other people about using AI, it's quite evident in with the perspective of who I'm talking to, I'm generally the expert. And when I did a show with Jonathan Denwood on the WP Tonic show, we actually had an episode where we reviewed something like 18 AI tools all at once. So we were talking about the price and what it did and the availability and all these cool things. And even if I go back then, which was maybe 8, 9 months ago, there was a little bit of AI fatigue in the air because everybody was talking about AI in this tool, AI in that tool. Every plugin in WordPress was like AI enhanced, AI this, AI that. And as an end user, I thought, this is overwhelming. I got AI fatigue. What does this even mean? And so I wanted to share with you kind of like what it looked like for my growth in AI and kind of give you some very real world examples. For instance, maybe you don't want to be a chat engineer. Maybe you don't want to be not a chat engineer, a prompt engineer. Maybe you don't want to have to figure out all those things. And so there's tools where you don't have to be. So let me share with you one that I've got right here. This is the back end of one of my website projects. I will admit I don't update it as often as I should. I don't play in here as much as I should. This is the website that promotes the book that I wrote on leadership. And so it's called actionleadershipteam.com. We've got our book in here, and you can get a free planner on the pop-up. We've got courses. So we've got a whole slew of sister courses that go with the book that I wrote, and all of this is in here. Now, in the back of this website, working with WP Tonic offers Bertha AI as one of their products. If I'm going to provide support at WP Tonic, it's important for me to have access to and to understand the tools. And so I put Bertha AI in this website. So if I go in here to Bertha AI and I click Launch Bertha, what you're going to see is Bertha pops up on the right-hand side of the screen, and we can go right into chat. We can say, we can go right in, just like I'm going to chat with ChatGPT or OpenAI. I can say, okay, we can do some chat in here. But there's some other cool things. Look here at prompts. Remember I said, what if you don't want to be a prompt engineer. What if you want some of that work done for you? Here you go. Unique value proposition. What will make you stand out from the crowd? Website sub headline, call to action buttons, section title generator. So you can see these are all certain elements of what you would write in a website. Content rephraser. Content rephraser to me is a game changer. I consider myself a writer. So I write content. It's natural for me to write content. But sometimes the way I express myself is not the most intuitive way to a reader. So if I write some content and I'm not sure about how it's communicating, or maybe it's not making the message as clear as I think it should, I'll copy that and I'll put it into content rephraser. And I just paste that content in. I say generate ideas. Bertha AI will typically give me 4 or 5 options to rephrase that content. I pick the content I want and I swap it on the page. It really is that simple. And part of the reason that I like tools like Bertha AI is exactly what I was talking about earlier. Maybe I don't want to be a prompt engineer. Maybe I just want things to be easier. Maybe I want there to be more time in my day. This is going to be a little transparent, but I run this agency. I have a team of people working for me, and I know that in order for me to keep the sales pipeline coming, I need to have a certain amount of content that I generate. And our messaging is pretty clear. We've got some core concepts at Mañana No Mas that I really need to keep nailing. And that is, we work on a budget. We work on your timeline. We don't ask people for more money. We honor our prices. We get things done by the deadline. We have a client portal that keeps customers informed of the project every step of the way. And so these are very important concepts that I need to say over and over again, but there's only so many hours in a day. But I want the voice to be my voice. I don't want to delegate it to a team member because I need what's being promoted to come from me. I feel the same way with this AI thing. With AI, I can use it to help speed up some of the content delivery, but I know that it's still my voice in the background. And let me show you how that's working for me. If I take a look at this other tool, I fell in love with it sometime last year. And again, I'm showing you things where you don't have to be the prompt engineer. It's just a tool to use. So this is called WriteBlogger. And WriteBlogger to me is a very good tool. I was on the paid program up until 2 weeks ago. I was paying $30 a month for this. And I just downgraded it to the free program because I'm trying something else out in the meantime. But here we see content dashboard. These are the things that I've used it for so far, right? But if we go to tools here, I think this is kind of a cool thing to do. If we go to tools, you're going to see that, and maybe people call these like AI agents or personas. These are basically tasks or tools that are pre-programmed into the tool. Okay. So using AI, do I want it to write a full article? Do I want it to just give me post ideas? You could put in a website into this platform. I could say, go to mañananomas.com and give me a list of articles I should be writing. And it'll come back with, here's a list that would be good for you, good to augment your content. And then I could say, well, make me an outline for the first one. Draft me an article for the second one. And you can go through the whole thing like that. So there's article writer. Smart Suggest is what I just told you about. Post Ideas is very popular. Helping with titles, that's a big one. Titles help determine your search engine optimization. So a lot of people will write a post title intuitively thinking that they're sharing an idea, but the post title isn't attracting readers. And so using a tool to kind of rethink or come at it from a different perspective is a really good thing to do. Now, there's all these things in here, right? Like writing lists and grammar fixers and rewriters. I want to get past that. SEO tools. Look at all these things to help you with SEO. Now let's go down to social tools. This is where I really used WriteBlogger a lot. And there's a lot of tools in here I've never even tried. But there's a couple of them in here, like YouTube video to blog post. I can make a YouTube video, put the link in here, and it will summarize the video, not a transcription, but summarize it and write a narrative blog post to go with the video. So then I can add the video to the page. Now, this is important because if I think about how search engine optimization works, I want to have domain authority. I want to be the expert on something. So if I have a lot of AI content in my website and Google spots that AI content, that takes away from domain authority, right? They kind of disallow some of that. They're like, well, it's just AI making this content. We don't know if this guy's smart or not. But if it is a summary of a video that I made with me speaking and the videos in the post, that kind of restores some of that domain authority, right? And so you have an image, you have a video, you have the content. And so if I leverage these tools in a way that really is my voice, then I know that I'm not going to get dinged, or at least dinged as badly as using straight AI generated content. So I'm really big on that as a tool. Now, here's where we get a little bit interesting in my personal journey with AI. I grew to really kind of use that as a crutch. Just being honest with you, I didn't want to be a prompt engineer. And somewhere along the line, I made the decision that I was going to put the blue check mark on the Manana No Mas account on X. Well, if you did that, you automatically got Grok as a paid account. And so I thought, well, I'm paying for it. I might as well use it. And so I started playing with Grok and I started doing some of the image things in Grok. And the images were coming through pretty good. And what I liked about Grok was it was conversational. I could say, make me an image of this. And then it would send me an image. And I would say, oh, can we tweak this? Can we have it be just females? Can it be just males? Can it be people of color? Can it be, you could put all these things in and it would constantly evolve and change. And so I grew to enjoy that as a tool from an image perspective, because I wasn't creating images with Chat GPT or even with WriteBlogger. So Grok 3 came out, and I found that to be like on steroids. I really enjoy the Grok product. What I do with AI, and this is just me, everyone else has their own theories, their own whatevers. But when I use a new AI product, I will go in and ask it some questions. What do you think of President Trump? What do you think of Kamala Harris? What do you think of um, uh, different policies, different hot buttons? And I'll look for the answers so I can gauge how much bias is in the system. Now, that's not paranoia for me being a conservative American. That's paranoia because I'm going to have this thing help me generate content. And I want to know what level of bias is this thing sending back to me so that I can kind of counter that through the content that I make, right? If you're making a lot of content and you're not editing it at a high level and things are slipping through that go against your ideologies, that's probably not a good thing. You're not marketing yourself ethically. And so I found Grok to have very little bias. I found it to come pretty straight through. It's still a little bit on the liberal side of things, but not as bad as like say Gemini or something like that. So I've really grown to enjoy Grok, and because I've enjoyed the experience more, I've become a little bit better at some of the prompting, which led to another conversation I had with someone that actually is a founder of a new AI product called Magi. Now, before I talk about Magi a bunch, I am going to say that I started using Opus Pro. Opus Pro, if you're doing anything online, you've seen advertisements for Opus Pro, and that's where you can take long form video and AI breaks it into snippets with captions and makes posts for you and all that kind of stuff. And so I really got kind of hooked on a combination of these tools. But did you hear what I said? A combination of these tools. So I was paying for Grok. I was paying for WriteBlogger. I'm paying for Opus Pro. This is starting to add up. So is there a return on investment for having all these tools going? And I found that the tools didn't really, they augmented each other. They didn't replace each other. So Grok I was using mainly for content. WriteBlogger I was using to convert those YouTube videos down and do things like that. Descript does a very similar thing. I also have a Descript account that I pay for. I use Descript in different ways. So that's another one, right? It's an editing tool, but it's also got some AI features. And then uh, Opus Pro. So I was speaking to somebody that was the founder. His name is Dustin. He has a product called Magi, and when you look at Magi, it is very similar, like very plain. I'll go here and log in, and they'll say I already have an account. Yes, I already have an account, and then it should take us to the dashboard page, and it's going to be very similar to what we see in ChatGPT, in Grok. I mean, it's a pretty plain screen. It shows me my recent chats. It says start a new chat. But here is where I think Magi is really set apart. What Magi does is it gives me this open screen, this kind of ChatGPT like screen. But if we go up here to the top and over here, there's these two toggles. One, I can pick any of these AI tools that I want to use. So I can have Perplexity, I can use Nova, I can use Llama. Llama's the one from the Meta Group, right? ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, it's all in here, right? Grok is in here. I mean, all of these things are here. And what's interesting is certain AI tools bill you based on the amount of words that they generate, or the amount of content that they generate. And so if we look here, this multiplier, 1x, 3x, half x, 1/10 x. I've used Gemini Flash 1.5 at 1/10 x, Gemini Pro at 1/10 x. What that is saying is I have a pricing strategy where I can get up to 100,000 words a month generated through this program, right? 100,000 words a month. But if I use Gemini Pro to generate my words, I can get 1,000,000 words, right? Because it's only using 1/10 of the credit to generate that for me. So ChatGPT 4o Mini, right, is the same thing. Gemini Pro 1.5 is half a credit. And so instead of 100,000 words, I could do 200,000 words. And then, of course, we have these things. It's a 1x, right? So 1x is like auto. It's just going to go out, do the task I asked for it to do, and bring it back. Now, that's not all that I can choose from in this platform. The other thing is assistants. And in these assistants things, these are standard: academic researcher, an assistant, a Bible scholar, business advisor. All of these came with the system, except you can add things to it. So right here, see where it says Mañana No Mas content? If I pick that, now I have a persona that I created in the system that is a content generator. So this is going to create content in my voice at the level of text that I want it to be, meaning is it 7th grade level, 9th grade level, 11th grade level. And so I built this persona so that when I put something in here and build a prompt, it's going to generate content most closely connected to that prompt. Okay. So if I go into not workspaces, not usage, if I go into custom personas, you're going to see that I built them right here, Mañana No Mas content. And we can go in here and I put, you're the marketing and promotions voice for Mañana No Mas digital agency. Our agency focuses on membership and learning websites as the output product, but creates content, training, and performs public speaking on topics as well as WordPress content. And so I'm building it up and I'm saying this is what we focus on. And as my agent, this is what you're going to focus on. And I put, our content needs to be in the 8th to 10th grade level for readability. This is our content marketing persona for Mañana No Mas. Boom, done. And so when I use this tool, I am creating a persona through AI that is going to generate content that is most similar to what I would create on my own. Hopefully that is making a ton of sense to you. So at the risk of oversimplifying my journey in this, I wanted to be like really clear. Nobody's going to wake up one day and be an AI expert. Like it's not going to happen. But AI is not going to go anywhere either, right? And so now we have to make a decision. How quickly do we want to adopt AI? And where do we want to draw the borders or the boundaries for ourselves in our use of AI? For instance, I will use AI all the time, sunrise to sunset, to help me with curriculum outlines, to help me with outlines for blog posts, to, like I showed you, to translate videos. One of the things that I've already been able to figure out with Magi is I programmed a thing into Magi where I can put in one of those YouTube videos and it will create the summary of that YouTube video, right? And so what I can do is I can create those prompts and I can store those prompts and I can reuse those prompts whenever I want. So I created a prompt that does what I was paying WriteBlogger to do. So I've been able to shop around a little bit and I've been able to figure out with time, right? And with a little trial and error, I've been able to figure out, hey, what are the tools I really like? And could I emulate that tool in a product that doesn't cost as much? And that's kind of what I've been working towards doing now. So next week, when we talk about I want to go through some actual real life scenarios where I've used AI to make decisions in business. And I think that that's going to be a little bit of a game changer. Again, I'm saying this is a real world journey of using AI. This is not, and by the way, I don't have any affiliate links with any of these tools. I don't get paid for any of these. I'm just sharing my personal journey with you. I do a lot of work online. I'm in these things quite a bit, but I'm still not like I wouldn't say I'm the expert on prompt engineering. I do not make plugins with AI. I hear a lot of people saying things like, "Oh, I'm just going to make an automated virtual assistant that does this or makes a plugin or does these things." I am not down that pathway, and I don't know if I ever will be down that pathway, to be honest with you. I've set some boundaries for myself where I want my content to be my voice. I want my content to be as if it came from me. And so I'm being really strict with myself about how this is coming to life. And at the same time, because of the work I do with WP Tonic and Lifter LMS and in the WordPress space, I'm able to come away with maybe I'm dipping my toes in the water just a little bit more than the average person. And so I'm able to come up with some of these ideas or theories, and I like sharing them with you. I hope that I'm doing the right. I hope I'm adding value to you at this very moment. I'll tell you, if you are completely new to AI and you're making content and you have your own blog and you're trying to make a YouTube channel, that WriteBlogger tool is a really great tool to get started. Next week, when we talk about how I've made some decisions with business, I will share with you kind of like how I did a whole local SEO deep dive on Manana No Mas. And it was really enlightening. Like I thought I was doing things pretty good, but when I asked AI, how would you pick a digital, how would you pick a digital marketing company in Hutchinson, Kansas? I wasn't even on the list. And I said, well, how come I'm not on the list? And then it said, this is why you're not on the list, and just started going through some things. And I was like, oh, well, what can I do to fix that? And it started telling me what I could do to fix it. I will share this with you step by step next week so that you go, oh, oh, because here's my inspiration. And I'm going to wrap it up with this. I was a naysayer. At the beginning of AI, just a couple of years ago, I was like, oh, it's going to get played out. People won't adopt it enough. And it's true. A lot of people have not adopted AI. We talk about AI as if everybody does it. The truth of the matter is very few people do it. And if they do it, they just play a little bit. Maybe they've got Copilot on their phone and they say, oh, should I eat strawberries or grapes today? I don't know. My point is they're not using it. They're not optimizing it for business wholesale. A lot of people are not. And so when I've had the opportunity to kind of come through this journey over the last couple of years and sample a bunch of different products, and then finally have like the veil opened and go, oh, that's how I can interact with it. And I think a lot of it has turned the corner because the AI is now conversive. You're able to have a conversation with it. You're able to ask it a question and then extend on that question in following messages instead of having to repeat and re-architect your prompt all the time. And so I think that there is a lot to be gained in this right now. So next Thursday, we're going to do part 2 of my real world journey with using AI. Again, I'm going to give you some real life samples and examples of what I've researched with AI, how it's helped me to make a decision in business. And by then, we should actually be able to pull up, through an SEO search and look at the difference and say, this is where we were, and this is where we are, and this is working. Wouldn't that be great if that was the truth? Folks, again, sorry I had to come back unscheduled and kind of redo some of this message. But like I said, the screen shares didn't come up before. So as I look at the replay from this one, I'm certainly hoping the screen shares work this time. If not, I've got a problem with StreamYard I've got to fix. But great to have you. Great to see you. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, I would encourage you to put a comment in. I'll get a notification and get back to you. And if you want to join the Mañana No Mas, kind of list so that you can, get notices of when we do the scheduled lives, just go to mañananomas.com, join, subscribe, and I'll stay in touch with you there. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye-bye.